shape that way. So I'm just kind of double up here, try to get in closer to the so this shape here. So there's no block on the bottom, block, and then it's cylinder. And with the cubes, I really don't like their geometry, and so I would just start off with the minimum equals 4x4. Actually, I guess 4x5. So we'll just make that poly mesh, and then I go in here and like that. And you have to collapse these. And you can delete these. So one thing, let's say like you're doing something and you accidentally have a deleted face here, and it's like, oh, I don't want to start over again. That's where the extrude comes in really handy. It's gonna snap. Usually snaps in place. Especially the more regular the shape is, the easier it is. So you can just repair things like that. So the extrude edge is very helpful. Like this shape. Basic shape, and then there's this even kind of like almost a miniature version of it, kind of jutting out. I mean, like barely see it here, but is this cylindrical shape? But then this is kind of like a U shape. Comes underneath. Some stuff I just can't really do. Like, you can see there's some little attachment here, and cuts into this. Like these are just little blocks as well. This is how they work, so. kind of like this, right? I creased it here. So I made a note. It doesn't crease this one, right? Because I've used a threshold on it. And so then when I don't know if you can see it, but this edge here is creased, these edges, this one, everywhere there's a sharp angle, it's creased. But this little edge loop here, or this little edge, part of this loop, is not creased. And so when I divide it, you can see it's like, it moves that. It's because it's trying to even things out this way. So I need to also go in and crease this one. In the case of this sort of cube, square, block shape, I can just go crease all. And so then now that crease this edge. When I do this, it doesn't try to fix anything, right? So yeah, basically, the other thing I can do is insert edge loops here and here, and it might help, or here and here. Let's see what that does. But you can see it still does it. So rather than have to sit there and try to figure out where I need to add. So that does a little bit better. But rather than do that, I'm just going to crease all, divide this times. I can divide it a lot. Before I can uncrease it. And then if I uncrease here, it's still probably going to get pretty rounded. It's going to go pretty high. And then it's starting just this top. But there's no need, because this is, unless I just wanted to get a little bit of a soft edge on it right now, there's no reason to do that. So you can see I'm crease it a few times so that when I try to connect it with this one, it matches up a little bit. So let's see. This eight across. This one's supposed to be, so they'll connect reasonably well. But anyway, none of it really matters. So I have to retard that stuff anyways.
Are we going to apply textures to this, or is small limit?
Well, it depends on what the class wants to do. We just want to solve it at the end, we can, sort of thing,
Yeah.
You want to? It's not actually that hard if you think about it, because,
In-
the same way, like, the thing that would be the biggest pain in the ass, initially looking at it, is the UV mapping.
Yeah.
But if you go, well, actually, I only have to UV map one cylinder, like one of everything, right? And
Mhm.
then you just do that, and then we can go into Maya, and you can, because they would all have, as long as you do one and then duplicate it, right?
Mhm.
When you use array mesh, it will get rid of those extra UVs, but you can fix all that in Maya by transferring attributes. You just, like, if it's identical geometry,
Mhm.
you can just transfer UVs, or you can even if like it's identical geometry, but one had been like slightly distorted somehow, and you needed it, you couldn't replace it. You could also, it's the same vertex where it's going to transfer. So there's a lot of stuff we can do there. But yeah, we can texture this if you guys would like to. It could be a really nice portfolio piece. Fit everybody in this class.
It's like, wow, you guys did all the same things, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it could be cool. So we could maybe do the start of it, just like approaching UV mapping or something, if you guys want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you guys get lots of texturing stuff from other classes, I think. I've never made this class really about texturing, but if you guys you'd rather take something through to the end, as opposed to do a few things where we're just modeling. It's really up to the class, because the only thing I would say is we have to also do something that involves organic modeling. So this is a hard surface project, but we also have to do some organic modeling. And ideally one that combines the two, right? Because there's a couple other assignments that I've think are that were pretty valuable for people. One is like a sci-fi armor design, where it's just basically you can do as much as you want, but basically it's just the chest and the torso armor that we
Mhm.
that I wanted you guys to design. So, but, yeah, let's talk about it when we get done with this. Okay, see how sick of it you are.
Yeah.
To remind you too, one of the things, when we do stuff like this, or when you do any assignment where there's like, it's pretty ambitious, you want to figure out ways that you can save work, ways that you can make one thing work for you a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's the benefit of, the major benefit of doing stuff digitally, right? Is once you make one thing, you have an infinite, you could have an infinite number of that thing.
Mhm.
Obviously rendering and stuff takes a while, that's this whole separate thing.
Mhm.
But even with rendering, you want to figure out like, well, this one object that's really tiny on the screen here, but it's super poly dense. Can I, what do I need to do here? Can I just, decimate the crap out of that and just have it with a solid color on it, or what,
Mhm.
whatever. Try to figure out how to save time and
Yeah.
make the most of your work. So when we do something like this, and it's the same as approaching it from the beginning, is look at it and go, well, this looks really complicated. Like if I had to make this in real life, obviously it would be, but
Yeah.
what is this really? Like, it's a bunch of repeating pieces,
Mhm.
right? So how many pieces are there actually, that I have to make separately on their own? I don't know, 12, 13 pieces, maybe 20, but still, it's not like the 200 that it appears to be,
Yeah.
right? So anyways, just try to get this sort of proportion right. Oops. Be careful of that. Like whenever I'm going up to move, if you miss it just a little bit and hit this part where you've gone way back in your history, if you don't notice that, you might disappoint yourself. Pretty mildly. This one I know I want to have kind of a rounded edge there. So I think let's increase all and then line once and see if I increase it. have to make sure I don't have any subdivision levels on it. And just mirror that. And I usually with identical pieces that are just mirrored, I like to merge them. So I went back up to it above here and just move that down. Alright, so what else do we need here? A couple other little cylinders and then this. So this piece here, this piece on top. So it's funny, like this little piece here is pretty complex. But all we have to do is this other piece needs these other little bits added to it. Okay. Little cylinders. And when you I've appended an object, right? But I was like up here, so I appended this object. Again, these arrows here, right? They're for navigating. You can also just use your buttons on your keyboard, up and down arrows. But I can also go just like, well, I know I added that at the end, so I can go shift and then select down. And if I hold shift, it's going to select the lowest one at the bottom, or the one at the bottom. If I hit from here, if I hit this sort of down and then like sideways arrow with shift, it's going to move whatever one I have selected down to the bottom. So sometimes I reorder stuff and I'll want that maybe to group that with the thing at the bottom. So, but that's how I like to be. I'll wondering how I'm quickly going, switching to a new one over here, or jumping all the way to the bottom. It's shift plus the down arrow. Now I don't use, in this case, for just this one object, folders don't make sense at all. But for this larger object, folders, if you like to be organized while you're working, that's also a useful thing, right? It can be useful to group like everything in folders. So like this cylinder, for example, everything associated with this cylinder and probably this pipe, I would probably put in one folder, right? And then there would be like everything associated with this middle piece. I would put in one folder, and, so that it's like, easy to go like find a group of things.
And then with those V's are, like the top one or something?
What's
The
that?
Where like V1, like those right there, is that what the folders are? Or?
Oh, no. V1 visibility set. I never use that. So it might be that let's see. I've never used that before. But the folder is just right here. You just go new folder and then you just drag stuff into it.
Okay.
And then you can make the naming objects and stuff like that. Like you can maybe name the folder, but like usually outsourcers, when you're submitting something, or if you're submitting work to somebody else, it's a good idea to have everything labeled, right? And be as organized as possible, make it as easy as possible to navigate through your work. Okay. Moving on. Little kind of a U shape first. Oh, I already have that. Not so much here. So. And again, if I want to move things in increments, like snap to, so I'll put in there shift and rotate. Right, that's why I rotate it in 5-degree increments. Excuse me. I delete these edges because I'm gonna have to shape the bottom, and I want to make sure just want to make it easier on myself. So we'll say here we're going to start kind of this is, this is also a case where I might start for these little tiny pieces. For example, I know I'm not gonna make like the nuts and the bolts. I'm gonna have nuts and bolts on it, but I'm not gonna have to make them myself because there are insert meshes that contain insert mesh like industrial parts. Right? If I click on this, I have access to all of it. It's like I just bolt head here, click OK. I don't have to make that. Right? I can just put one in there and then use an array mesh on it. There might be something close to like this. Here's this spring, right? I don't have to make a spring. Okay, so that's gonna save me some time. Lots of these pieces here I won't actually have to make. I just have to find them. So it's basically just like as a slightly more complex but basic piece of geometry. So actually, real quick, we'll take a kind of tangent here, just so you guys see this. So this is the insert mesh brush. So anyone that says IMM on it, again, see this one has all. This is actually really cool. This is like a hose. It doesn't tell you what exactly this does, but maybe I should just pick this, right? Because it's an insert mesh, but you have like the beginning piece, right? And then the middle part that repeats and the end. And I believe I showed you guys this, how to make one of these. Like, it's pretty easy. You have 3 different polygroups, basically, right? You have the start, and then the polygroup, and then the middle part that repeats, and then this. And it's basically it decides which one is which based on just height, like where it is in order. So yeah, these are not hard to make, right? But this is actually pretty cool. So which is like, ego tells you maybe like, I kind of wanted to make that myself. I was looking forward to that, but it's like, just save time. Just save time wherever you can. Like even there's like a tank tread, okay? It's like, right? So, but what this is really useful for is kind of showing me like, well, again, how is this made? This is like, okay, this thing just repeats over and over and over again. Okay, the whole thing repeats. So, but it's linked together. So it's really helpful to kind of look at some of those things, as well as like with the micro mesh, the same thing. So you can look at how they're actually put together, and then okay, well, I can make my own. If this doesn't do exactly what I want, but I could make my own, and then use that to distribute it. So let's look at some of the other things we have access to here. So that was the army curve. There's this body parts. You could make a nose and an ear, and you could just start it's like Mr. Potato Head, sort of. Right? So you could do this. It's not a bad idea to have a certain set of like, I have different types of ears that I make. It's like, why not? The thing about these is like very, very generic, but it's like a starting point for you. It's a good practice to be able to sculpt an ear. I like sculpting ears. It's at first it seems like super complicated, but it's just like I like it. It's an enjoyable process doing all of that. But again, if you're in a hurry and or if let's say you're working on a game on your own and you're like, well, I need to have a bunch of different orcs or whatever, or elves or anything so I need a couple different ear types and a couple different nose types. It's like you're just kind of mixing and matching and creating some variations, live booleaning them together, and getting variation that way. So this can be helpful. But then other insert methods, there's all these machine parts here, like lots of stuff where just take a look through these things to see if something gets you pretty close to what you need. And then I'll show you how to make your own, because it's not just making it, but you have to set up the stroke properly to use curve mode, and it's and there's other things like if you want, for for example, you can make it in repeats, but you wanna make sure that it connects, like the hose pieces, it's like, what is that called, like, I think it's actually, there's types that where they compress completely, but then there's others that are like more of a spiral. But you can have the piece that repeats, but then make sure that it always like is connected to the next piece instead of having space between them. So there are different things we have to do to make that happen. I'll show you that. Okay, back on main mode. Okay, now the next part is just this little additional cylinder. Old cylinder. Excuse me. Hey, there you are.
Sorry, I was in a meeting and then went to lunch.
No, that's okay. I've been managing, but yeah, it's like it's really tiresome. So yeah, I would have hit you up earlier, but I thought that the unit drivers were already installed. So.
Okay. Did you download the install program?
No, I haven't. I thought you had to do all of that. I was,
Okay.
I should have done it.
Let's see here. Is it okay if I
Yeah,
memorize this?
yes.
Let's see. Let's spell it.
Yeah, you said.
Yeah, I just need the model number.
Each one, 161.
There it is.
sorry. Jesus Christ, that didn't scare me.
That should do it. Page 4 now. Is it possible it's like head? Should be. Let's try this over.
It's just not responding. Okay, let's bring up the app. That's what it's looking for. Okay. That should work. What is that now?
I think we're good.
And try to close that. Perfect. Let's just go tell them, hey,
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Sorry for the delay.
No problem. Okay. Okay, we'll continue for another 10 minutes and then take another break. I'm just going, for right now, I'm not, I'll go into Boolean and this whole thing together. But I'm not gonna like clean it up right now, so. Here, Boolean mesh. Yeah, I've already made it clear. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to my main. Now I will append this. Now I'm gonna finish up piece on this and then this. I will take a break. First, this piece isn't quite right. I'm noticing that just how brown is on the top doesn't look quite. I can easily fix it. Actually, I'll show you just a way without having to go back, right? I'm just gonna go from here to the mask, from here. We'll delete the higher ones from here. So invert this, and then I'm going to use my transpose. So from here, I want it to look, I want it to be a bit more rounded. Okay. So there's a number of ways I can do it, but I masked off everything. I hold down Alt and grab this middle part here and pull this up a little bit. Okay. Now from here, it's gonna go like this now. And I need these parts to be driven up a little higher, so I'm just gonna kind of just pull them up a little bit more. Mask. guys,